Hello humans, I'm Yoshiller, and welcome back to some more Kirby 64 in this REDUX walkthrough of mine. Parts of this walkthrough are uploaded at noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every weekday. In this part, I shall be taking on the 4th level of World 5, Shiver Star, but before I do so, I'm going to need the Spike ability, and the quickest way I can think of getting the Spike ability would be going to Neo Star and going to the 3rd level on it, because Spike abilities appear pretty early on in the level. More specifically, I need a combination of Rock and Spike. However, all I really need to do here is inhale the Spike enemy because there are Rock enemies on this next level. So, when I first began Shiver Star, I talked about how messed up this world is. It's a frozen over Earth. That is what it is. Just look at it. It's frozen over Earth. And when you go to the level select screen, the music that plays is really ominous and kind of creepy. And it really has this overall cold tone to it. And you play all these snowy levels and you're like, oh, it's fun, you're playing snow levels. Well, for this next level, is this something you envision that would appear in a snow-themed world? It is one of the most controversial levels in Kirby 64, and it's very memorable, even to myself. When I was a kid, I didn't think anything of it, but now, I'm having second thoughts. So, at first you begin this level, and you see a factory in the background, and you figure, oh, snow, factories, it's Santa's workshop, right? Well, not quite. But if you go over here, you can find some food. That's something positive. But what happens when you actually go down here? It's actually kind of creepy. The music's awesome, but this whole atmosphere feels really weird. You'd think it'd be out of place for a snow-themed world, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that this is perfectly fitting for a snow-themed world because it's trying to emphasize the fact that not everything's so happy-jolly. Everything has a dark side to it. I don't know, considering that this whole planet is based off of a frozen over Earth, is it implying that we get taken over by machinery? And that we destroy ourselves? It's really weird. But on a more positive note, I do have this Rock Spike combination, which allows me to destroy specific types of blocks, specifically the ones that appear on this level. I need to destroy these blocks in order to get the first Crystal Shard on this level. So I have to dodge these cannons. There we go. I guess I can just duck underneath them. Shoot these drills through the walls in order to get rid of all the blocks, and then climb up this ladder at the end to get the first Crystal Shard on this level. Here we go. Yeah, I remember when I first played this level, I actually had a hard time just doing anything on this level. It is a rather difficult level. I mean, I can still beat it pretty easily. I'm still getting hurt, but I can still beat this level pretty easily. But it is a rather difficult level, and I do really like this music. I remember this music being very memorable. I remember this level being very memorable. But looking back at it, this is really dark. Right now we have a King DDD segment, but when I was a kid, this segment was probably the hardest part of the level. If not this part, then another part of the level. Getting through these was actually quite difficult as a kid because jumping too high would force you to kind of stay in place. You couldn't really jump through these. You had to be careful. And as you continue on through this conveyor belt, the conveyor belt actually gets faster and faster, pushing you backwards, forcing you to kind of go back to where you started. And if you're too quick, you might, get stuck and get crushed by one of these guys. Getting crushed by one of these guys, those guys with the mallets, kills you immediately. This part specifically is kind of tricky. And these robots are actually kind of scary. I mean, just think about that. What are we doing nowadays? We're trying to create robots, and honestly, they're not going to look like that. But this whole level is just creepy. This music, this atmosphere, these enemies, this difficulty. This is quite an interesting level, and it's just out of nowhere. But I said when I began this walkthrough, a lot of Kirby games start off with, oh, you're playing Kirby, and then they get really dark, and this is no exception. Now, this segment's over, but the darkness of this level and this world is not over just yet. Now, you're going to need a combination of Cutter and Electricity to get the next Crystal Shard. And I don't remember where either of those enemies are on this level, quite honestly. And if they're not in this room, then I'll just go back to this level and get the Crystal Shard again. But for now, oh, okay, here's Cutter. I don't know if there's an Electricity enemy in this room. I might have to do this level twice. I don't remember. But like, this whole thing, it's bright and colorful, but this is so messed up. And I'm learning this from freaking Kirby? I mean, the song is awesome. This atmosphere is awesome. I always say how memorable all the levels are in this game, but this is weird. This is weird. A frozen over Earth and a messed up factory where the only things that are alive are evil enemies and machinery is an idea that came across in a Kirby game. Ugh. And look, there's creepy cats in the background, whatever. Like, they modeled that cat just so it could spin around in the background, because I don't think it appears anywhere else in this game. Oh, yep, look at all this stuff. Alright, I don't know where an electricity enemy is, but whatever. Oh, actually, I think I just saw one. Shoot, I can't go back. Alright, whatever. You know what's funny, though? The happiest music in this whole level appears during this mini-boss fight. And this mini-boss isn't even an ice enemy. It's a fire enemy. Fire melts ice. This is an ice world, and the last mini-boss in it is a fire bird. That's messed up. There's lava here. Like, do you guys not understand how dark this whole level is? Ugh. Anyway, there are electricity enemies in this next room, but I don't know if the Crystal Shard will still be there if I go back. But let me just check. So let me combine. Ah, gosh darn it. I was afraid that was going to happen. Okay. Well, let me just see if that Crystal Shard's still there. Okay, it is not. So I'm going to come back to this in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and get that Crystal Shard, and then I'll continue on with the rest of the level. So I'll be right back. Whoosh! Okay, now I have my Electric Saber, which is my favorite ability in the game, and I can use that to defeat this mini-boss and get the second Crystal Shard on this level. So here's how it's properly done. Destroy the cage. Here we go. Bring it on, birdie! Bring it on! Woo! Oh, how I love this ability. This is the only part in the game in which you're required to use it, but it's still my favorite ability in the game. Here we go. Party on, bird. Party on. Woo! There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this Crystal Shard, and then I'm going to cut back to my original attempt at this level because that is my first time actually completing the level, and I do have some things that I need to say. So I'm going to go ahead and cut back to my original footage, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Whoosh! Okay, so at this time, I should have shown you guys how to have gotten the second Crystal Shard on this level, and now I'm going to go ahead and continue on with the rest of the level. Now, earlier I was saying how the King DDD segments was the hardest thing on the level. If that's not the hardest segment on this level, then this one is. This whole section is tricky. A lot of games use this idea of the ceiling or the floor or something crushing you. Well, this is no exception, and this is the only part of the game that's actually like this, and it is quite tricky. You gotta be quick, and Kirby doesn't move too quickly. Now, I have this double electricity ability just in case any enemies are on the screen, but I don't think they will be. And even when you get to these safe points between these walls crushing you, there's still cannons shooting at you. You have to be careful. Those cannons will shoot you, stun you for a second, and then you'll get crushed. And if you get crushed, you will die immediately. You don't lose a hit point. You die. You are dead. Okay? So here we go. Continuing on. Now that I'm older, the segment isn't too hard, but this is probably the toughest part of this level, is just getting through this. This part right here. But I think I can do it. Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah. This is really brilliant in terms of level design, though. The fact that they can give off this creepy feel at all is impressive, because they have to make it think. They have to make the viewer think. They have to make the gamer think that this is crazy, and it is. It's messed up. It's messed up, you know, but it's cool. It's cool. This is the only level in which this song plays. This is the only level in which some of these enemies even appear. It's interesting. It's certainly interesting. And the third Crystal Shard of this level is somewhere around here. I don't quite remember where, but I hope that I'm serving this level some justice, because I know that I've been talking about how creepy this level is, but I've just been talking. I haven't really given you guys a chance to take it in for yourself. But then again, I don't want to just be quiet because this is a commentated walkthrough, and it'd be awkward if I just went silent. Okay, where's that third Crystal Shard? It's gotta be around here somewhere. I didn't skip it, did I? Oh no, there it is. It's right there. Yeah, but this is just a creepy level. And these things, oh man, this whole level is just filled with all sorts of robotic traps. It is really cool though. Oh, what? What happened? I was trying to jump and I got crushed? Well, stuff like that happens from time to time, but that was my own fault. It was not the game's fault. This is an amazing game. This level is awesome despite how dark it is. Anyway, this whole level is really challenging, but to be fair, I am nearing the end of the game, and by this point, it should be getting challenging. And even though Kirby games were initially made for beginner players, any good video game should get progressively more and more difficult while providing a fair challenge. And this is a fair challenge. Things move at a slow enough pace to where I have a quick enough time to react. Okay, woo! I'm almost at the top. Once I get to the top, that is pretty much the end of the level. Oh man, this level is so cool. I just now that I know how messed up and how dark this whole planet is, it does make me like this level a whole lot more. I love it when something so bright and jolly and happy can have this really dark and serious message that can be conveyed without it being forced. Because, like I said earlier, when I was a kid, I didn't think anything of this. I just thought it was a hard level. I knew it was a factory, but I didn't think about how it's all roboticized and how everyone's dead and the only thing that's alive are robots, but whatever. Anyway, okay, so I'm actually cutting back to my footage here because now I have all the Crystal Shards. I'm going to go ahead and complete this level. There we go. I got the enemy card twice. Woo! Okay, so just to recap, I went through this level, missed the second Crystal Shard, went back through it, got the second Crystal Shard, and now I unlocked this level, which is the boss fight of this world. But that'll be in the next part. So for now, that about wraps up this part of my Kirby 64 Redux walkthrough, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. See you all next time in the next part when I take on the boss of Shiver Star. Bye-bye, humans.